This is the plaintiff, Melody Powell. She says her landlord, the defendant, barged in one day, pushed her so hard she spun around, and it shocked her so badly she now has a disease called tremor. The man now refuses to return her security deposit. She's suing for treble damages because he didn't follow any of the landlord rules in her state and is seeking the $5,000 she's now owed. This is the defendant, Chester Smith. He says he used the plaintiff's security for unpaid rent, which is his right as a landlord. It's a crying shame the plaintiff filed this lawsuit because she and her husband are good people. Unfortunately, the plaintiff's been blinded by greed because he followed all the rules and owes nothing. He's accused of barging in.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says her landlord assaulted her, spun her around, and as a result, she now has tremor disease. Now, the defendant says she is full of it. It's the case of spinner sinner.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Melody Powell.
Yes, ma'am.
You lived for how many years in is it a house or an apartment?
Apartment.
Owned by Mr. Smith?
For 2 years.
2 years, all right. And towards the end of your time there, you asked Mr. Smith if your sister could move in there, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that was approved?
Yes.
All right. Now, your sister how was her rent getting paid?
She was going to use her disability.
Okay.
We were trying to get her out of a really bad place in Gainesville. I mean, really bad
Oh,
place.
you're from Florida? All right. And
Yeah.
a really bad place in Gainesville, why was it bad?
Drugs. The guy didn't treat her right.
Okay, so she was in a domestic
And-
situation as well?
Yeah, and we just seen this, as a good opportunity for her.
Okay, and who is the lady with you?
My oldest sister.
Okay, I could tell the resemblance. All right, so you move your sister in on what day?
It was sort of through the month of November while we were sort of moving out.
So you move your sister in,
Yes, ma'am.
and unfortunately, something goes wrong. What went wrong? What happened to your sister?
She passed away December 2nd.
I'm so sorry to hear that. And what did she pass away from? What was the cause of death?
She just got sick. She was never healthy. She's on
there's a
drugs.
cause of death. What
and
was it?
She's my twin. So it makes it a little harder here.
Can you
Because
tell
he
me what
didn't
the
give
cause
me
of
the
death was?
time. 2 days after my sister died, I got all the text
Can you
messages.
tell me what the cause of death was? Was it drugs?
She just
Can
got
you tell me what the cause of death was?
Septic. She went septic. She was septic.
Can you come on up?
She had.
Hold on, everybody, hold on. I asked you a few times. I need to get an answer from somebody. What happened?
She had a lung disease
Okay.
that they could never get a hold of. While she was in the emergency room, they had oxygen on her, but they left her, and she had a seizure and pulled the oxygen mask off herself.
And she was
And
unaccompanied at
then
the
she
time?
was brain
Do you
dead.
have a lawyer and a wrongful death case?
Not yet. We're just trying
Not
to
yet?
get through this first.
Okay. Your sister passes away. Had anyone paid December rent?
No, ma'am.
So December rent wasn't paid?
It wasn't
ma'am.
due. It was due on the 3rd.
Okay. There was some paperwork that you entered into with the sister, correct? May I see the paperwork?
That would be the lease.
Okay, perfect.
Now, Your Honor, I will say that
It's not
because the
signed.
lease was typed incorrectly, the top page was retyped twice with Melinda's approval. And so I will show you, it's got the first and last types, but I'm missing the one in between. And when I retyped it
Yeah,
with-
you don't get to do that, though.
He
I need to.
changed
Okay,
the-
excuse me. There's no question pending.
I'm
You don't
sorry.
get to do that. You see, you don't get to like, how do I know what was actually agreed? The point of a contract is that, first of all, every page has to be initialed. So we know that all these pages were together when things got signed. That's number one.
I'm
Number
sorry to
two,
hear it was done.
you know, you shouldn't have two versions of a page and then I'm supposed to trust you on which version was adopted. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of what's going on here.
Okay.
First of all, there was a security deposit that you had. What is your name? Melody Powell. Your sister's name is?
Melinda.
Melinda. Okay, now you were not asking him to return your security deposit and then telling Melinda, you got to pay a security deposit. You were trying to help Melinda out. So you said, what was your intent? Let my security deposit ride and what?
It was to be returned to me whenever she left that apartment.
Okay, so I am correct that your intent was to help your sister out, and all three parties agreed to this. At least this far, all three parties agree. The money that's already there, that he already has as a security deposit for you, goes to cover Melinda's security deposit, right?
And that's
right?
it, yes.
Right?
I have a copy of
Stop.
it.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Where's the security deposit supposed to go? After, let's say Melinda lived there 5 happy years and then moved out.
And if there was no charges against it, it goes to Melody and
Okay,
Howard
perfect.
Powell.
Everybody agrees. Now, according to this lease, it is a term of 12 months to begin on December 1st.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then your sister passed away on what day?
The 2nd of
Okay.
December.
And then you made a statement, rent wasn't due yet. What did you mean?
Until the 3rd, because her check doesn't come in until the 3rd.
That's not when rent's due. That's when she's going to pay her rent. That's two different things. The lease starts on the 1st, which is when most leases start. So
which
who do
is
you think
true,
is supposed to
but
pay
she
rent
didn't-
for December? He's keeping the security deposit, which is the same amount as the rent. So there's a $725 deposit. So now, if I understand your position, you feel that you should not have to give back the security deposit because nobody paid Melinda's rent.
That's
And
correct.
I also presume that even though Melinda passed on the 2nd, that it took a bit to get everything out of there. I assume it took a week or more to get stuff out of there because that's what would be natural. So,
I fully understand this, but every time we ask to use the deposit to help out, under no circumstances will deposit be used for anything. I have it on 3 leases, top pages.
now, at some point before we get to that, and I explained that part of the law to you, what I want to understand is something that you said in your complaint, that when you're moving things out, things got heated up between you two. Can you tell me about that?
Okay, so you guys get this, right? So the plaintiff says that her landlord kind of spun her around, and as a result, she developed this disease, a debilitating, serious disease, tremor disease. Is it possible that could happen from a spin or a push?
No, I don't think you can get tremors from dancing.
No, not dancing. I'm talking about, no, I'm really serious about this. I mean, this is a serious disease. What do you say?
I think so.
You think that could happen? Like an abrupt spin or a push?
Yeah, I think so.
How about you?
I'm not going to say so. I'm going to assume that tremors is something from your brain going down to your nerves, and I don't think a push could cause that.
Okay, I'm not sure either, I gotta say. I'm barely a juris doctor, much less a medical one. Okay, going inside the courtroom.
She was on the porch and he pulled up and I was in the living room. But he came in and he come by me, and when he did, he kind of spun me.
How did he spin you?
Like,
What do you
like
mean?
using me. Like, get out of my way.
Well, what happened to you when he knocked into you? Did you fall down?
No,
Okay.
I totally froze, and I got in my truck, and I told her, I said, get in the truck. Get in the truck now. Get in the truck now. And an hour later, this is what I have to live with the rest of my life.
Over somebody
For
pushing you?
being shocked like that. I couldn't believe he had the gall
Do you
to
have any
come
medical records?
barging his
Do you have
way
any medical
in
records
like
to
that.
indicate that somebody pushing you caused the
Yeah.
hand tremors you're exhibiting?
Yeah, diagnosis right there.
Thank you.
So what this says is that you have essential tremor and restless leg syndrome. And what I was asking you to prove up was the fact that you have that as a result of him pushing past you. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, well, that's all I have.
All right. What happened there? Did you push past her to get in there because you were angry they weren't out?
No, the dishwasher was broken, so I brought a young man in there to help pull that dishwasher out. We didn't even touch the lady. We didn't even come close to her.
All right. So were you present when that supposedly happened?
Yes, ma'am.
And what happened?
When he pushed past her.
Sends me a bill saying I owe
How did he,
him
when he
money.
pushed past her, how much did he touch her? Did you see it or you didn't see it?
No, I did not see
got
it.
it.
I
Okay.
heard it.
Okay. And what did you hear?
And when I spun around to see what happened, she gave me that look that she was broke.
Okay.
And she said,
All
let's go, and that's what we did.
Okay. So you're suing for $2,250, which you say you are suing for as treble damages per Florida law.
No.
There are no treble damages in landlord tender. Some states, some
ma'am,
states
my
have
daughter
that,
is.
and
My
other
daughter
states.
did.
That's okay. That's good. She's thinking. But we have treble damages in Florida for other stuff. We have it for theft and other stuff, but not. And you can't call everything a theft and then have the exception swallow the rule. So what is at play in this case is $725. Okay.
Yes,
There is
ma'am.
no question that he agrees that if he's not entitled to the security deposit, it goes back to Melody. So the only question is he entitled to it because December rent wasn't paid? Everyone here knows December rent wasn't paid.
Yes, ma'am.
Your sister's argument is, oh, but security deposit can't be used for rent. And what I have to explain
Yes.
to you is you can't use it for rent. No tenant can use it for rent. And that does not translate to he can't use it for rent. The whole point of a security is for the landlord to be able to secure their interest. So if you leave without paying rent, or your sister didn't pay rent, or you damage the place, any of those things, he's out rent. He's got to pay a mortgage. He's out rent that month. So he can use it for rent. And it's not prorated either. Once the first day of the month is occupied, the whole month is due. And my verdict in this case is for the defendant. I'm very sorry about your loss.
Well, I got to tell you, if he did push her and it really did trigger this disease, we are talking way beyond small claims court. Major, major damages.